a glass like capillary pipette, and it's really thin at the tip. You can pass it around.
You guys know the pyramidal cells are kind of like the main excitatory cells that you're going to find in the cortex. They're all over layer 2-3, all over layer 5 of the cortex. So this is an example of what it looks like in layer 5 of my slice as you're moving down in depth. So you can see there's a lot more cells that are fluorescent.
And the term torpedo specifically refers to cerebellar Purkinje cell axonal swellings. Okay. So my project is studying this, and there's
What my project is looking at I'm looking at timocytes and looking at differences in their organization depending on the time of day, so circadian organization. But one thing that we're worried about is that whether, because we manipulate them at different time points during the day, that may cause more stress, and the circulating stress hormone cortisol, or in rats corticosterone, that also oscillates depending on the time of day. So by
So we isolate circulating tumor cells, or CTCs, which are cells detached from a primary tumor, like in your arm, like in your brain, and they're migrating in your regular peripheral blood down to a secondary site. These are of interest, and so what we do is we leverage engineering techniques to build really precisely controlled polymer membrane filters. We place them in a 3D printed cartridge like that, and we work with collaborators at the SHUM and at the Glen across the city to test these filters with patient blood samples. We're able to functionalize the filters, as seen here, to target specific subpopulations of cells based on their surface marker expression. EGFR3 is a really common one for glioblastomas, for example. We can use these to track patients over a time course, and we see a correlation between the number of CTCs that we find in their blood and the progression and treatment of their disease.
The axon compartment, and then in your paper you're actually going to be able to see, so this is the axon because I separated them using a microfluidic device, and everything that grows here is actually the axon.
And what was really interesting when we looked at this, we actually could see those swellings happening. Now that was really interesting because that was early onset of the disease. At a time when we look at the soma of the retinal ganglion cells, they appear normal. So there's no loss of the cell bodies, but in fact, we would have this defect, which means that there's the transport of proteins are affected. There could be a problem of mitochondrial transport. Well, a lot of things happening.
This was testing out different substrates for cells to grow on. So the red stain here is a protein called netrin that we're studying. And what this shows is how the different cells are responding to the cue in very different ways. And so you have some of them that are really avoiding it or seem to dislike it, whereas others are actually growing much more when they're contacting it. And the fact that they have decided to go sit on it while they grow means that they're attracted to it in some way.
So the cells are reprogrammed, so they become basically an undifferentiated cell. They have the potential to become any type of cell. And then with giving them different factors like growth factors, different hormones, they can become neuronal cells or glial cells or turn into the 3D organoids.